And Ranj, I would like to begin with you, because a lot of people will think we've heard of all of this before, we've been through all of this before with Charlie Gard. What do you see as the difference here to the unfortunate Charlie Gard case?
This is a very different situation to what Charlie was in. This is a different condition. This is a potentially curable condition. Even if it's not potentially curable, you can have a good quality of life with treatment as well. The treatments that are out there are a lot better research, they're not experiments, and there are people with experience with them. So this is a completely different situation. Therefore, the two cases aren't comparable in any shape or form.
OK, so Mum and Dad, does that give you more hope, more strength, more resolve?
We hang on to hope. It's all we have at the moment, hope and belief.
When Dawson was diagnosed, what did they tell you at that time? Because this is a very, very rare form of liver cancer, isn't it?
We were told it's, yes, 0.9 in 1 million. I remember the consultant saying it's a really treatable cancer. She said if we had to choose a cancer to give a child, we'd always give this one. It's always, you know, it's got a 9 out of 10 survival rate.
So at that point, you were thinking, OK, there's nobody wants to be given the diagnosis that their child has cancer, but that sounded all like good news.
Yes, it was just going to be a few rounds of chemotherapy, major surgery, and then a couple of more rounds of chemo, and we were going to be ringing that bell and in remission.
So what has changed?
Unfortunately, it seems that the chemo is not working. He was supposed to be having surgery in Birmingham, but just the week before the surgery, it was noticed on the scan that the cancer had spread to his lungs as well now. I'm so sorry, Wendy.
I just have to laugh, because you would never know that. Look at him, he's so poorly, but
mischievous.
He's so
Mischievous.
Yeah, and smiling. You know, is he like this most of the time?
Yeah, this is why we fight. He's got so much life in him. How can you give up?
And you know what, Dad, David, you're looking there, you can't deny him as your son, can you? He's the spitting image there, so he is.
Hello.
Now, what, David, look, right, where are we at? What resolve do you have? I'm sure you'd move mountains if you could.
I'd do anything for him, yeah. Yeah. Absolutely anything.
So what's the target? What do you need? How do you need people to help you?
We need to raise about £500,000. It's an enormous amount. It's horrible having a price on your child's life. But we can't do it on our own.
And just could I ask you, Wendy, is that because, let's just make it clear to people, does the technology exist in this country, or is it the doctor saying, look, we haven't got the resources? What is it?
We've been treated at Queen's, and they have been brilliant. The nurses there, the staff, they are family, they are incredible people. They work with the sickest children, and we can't thank them enough. But there is nothing now that can be done for Dawson. Our oncologist, she is looking, she is trying to find other things, but at the moment...
So you have done some research and you've come up with Dr James Gellar in America. What's his track record on this? What do you think he could do for Dawson?
He has a lot of experience with hepatoblastoma, which is the cancer Dawson has. It is a rare one, so over here there's not much experience with it, and to think outside the box.
And he's had quite a lot of success treating other children.
Yes, he does. He has different approach. I think he'll have access to different drugs, and even if it's a trial, it's we have to risk it.
So, Dr Raj, you've been researching this, you've been looking into this. Why are Wendy and David left with this only recourse, which is the USA?
So this, as Wendy said, this is a very rare condition, and there's not a huge amount of experience in treating this condition. If you treat it in the early stages, it is potentially curable with chemotherapy and surgery. Problem is, when it gets to the later stages, that becomes very difficult, and especially in Dawson's case, he's become resistant to chemotherapy. So the options in this country have become exhausted, and quite rightly, his great team are now looking further afield to see if there are other options available. Problem is funding that treatment, and that is going to cost money. What we must
so the NHS would not fund that?
It may not. It's quite complex rules as to what it can and can't fund. We don't have an endless pot of money, sadly, for everything that we would love to fund. What we must also point out is that you're actually having a teleconference with the specialist very soon to see if he can offer some
So he
help.
hasn't said at the moment whether he can help Dawson?
No, we've not got anything set in concrete yet, which is why we've said that from the start, we said anyone who have raised, should Dawson not be able to be saved, or should we not need it, and we've had a miracle in England, the money would go to saving another child.
Yeah. How is this affecting the whole family? Because you have 2 other children. How are you coping as a family?
It's very difficult. Your heart breaks, obviously, for Dawson, but also I see my 2 other children. I just wish I could take it all away for everybody. It affects the whole family.
Of course it does. How is your fundraising going? Because you've already started. Because you were saying if you get this call,
yes,
and Dr Gellar says, I think I can help, come over, you need to be ready to go.
Yes, we're running out of time. So yeah, we launched, it's called $1 for Dawson, and we just had the idea that if we could reach 500,000 people and just ask for £1, you can't even get a cup of tea at the park for £1. You can't buy an ice cream, a loaf of bread.
You've already raised 200 and something.
It's about 240,000 we've raised.
Yeah. And what about your local community?
They've been amazing, absolutely amazing. It's been incredible, the support. Strangers have become friends. People are just contacting us and they've said, we've had a fun day, we've done this, we've done that, we've had a cake sale, all sorts.